Maserati was founded in Bologna, Italy in 1914. The company was started by 5 brothers. Their first model was the Tipo 26, a 1.5-litre 8-cylinder Grand Prix car. It had nearly 130 horsepower and was good for 150 miles an hour. One of the first Maserati race cars, driven by Alfieri Maserati, won the 1926 Targa Florio endurance race. Alfieri crashed while racing in 1928. This led to serious injuries and he died in 1932. In 1929, Maserati launched the Tipo V4. It was the world's first production V16 car. The engine was 4.9 litres in size and it featured a Zagato-designed body. It was good for 166 miles an hour and had a total of 360 horsepower. In 1938, Maserati launches the 8 CTF Grand Prix race car. It was the only ever Italian car to win the Indianapolis 500. It featured a 3-litre straight 8 that produced 360 horsepower and it had a top speed of 180. In 1940, Maserati's headquarters moved to Modena after the Maserati brothers sold the company to the Orsi family. During the rest of the 1940s, no new cars are developed, with Maserati helping with the war efforts. In 1947, Maserati launches the A6. It's their first attempt at a mass-produced car. They built one a month. It had been in development since 1941, but the war had pushed the introduction of the model back. In 1957, Maserati launches the 3500 GT. This is their first successful attempt at a series production model, with 2,200 built in 7 years. It was the first Italian car with fuel injection. In 1963, Maserati launches the first generation Quattroporte. It's their first saloon model. It featured a 4.7-litre V8 with up to 290 horsepower. With 158 mph top speed, it was the fastest saloon car in the world. In 1967, Maserati launches the Ghibli. At a top speed of over 170 miles an hour, it was famed for its design with pop-up headlights. In 1968, Citroën buys Maserati. Citroën uses Maserati to develop its new flagship, the SM. Maserati needed Citroën for a secure cash flow and its technology. In 1969, Maserati launches the Indy, a 4-seat fastback, and it was the first Citroën-developed Maserati. It was named after the famous Indy win by Maserati at 170 mph top speed, despite being a spacious 4-seater. In 1971, Maserati launches the Bora, a mid-engine V8 supercar. It was a proper rival to Ferrari and Lamborghini, with similar performance and good handling, but it featured a more spacious cabin, a big boot, and was more comfortable inside. In 1973, Maserati launched the Merak. It was similar to the Bora, but the smaller V6 made it more spacious inside, giving it enough space to be a 4-seater. It was cheaper to buy and run than the Bora. This was an important factor during the oil crisis. The oil crisis of the 1970s slowed Maserati's growth plans under Citroën ownership, with Citroën going bankrupt in 1974. Peugeot buys 38% of Citroën that December. In May 1975, Citroën suddenly puts Maserati into liquidation, but the Italian government convinces Citroën to suspend the liquidation, with a government-backed holding group buying 89% and Di Tommaso buying the other 11%. It was nearly 50 years until Citroën and Maserati would come together again under Stellantis ownership. In 1976, Maserati launched the second-generation Quattroporte. Only 12 were ever built, with the Citroën SM-based model being caught up in Citroën's financial crisis of the mid-70s. In 1979, Maserati launched the third-generation Quattroporte. It was smaller than the first two Quattroportes at less than 5 metres in length. Di Tommaso disliked Citroën and dismissed the Citroën staff that were designing the new engine. He also removed all Citroën influence, including the hydraulic system. The car had to make use of Maserati's old V8. The top spec was a 300 horsepower 4.9-litre V8 in the Quattroporte Royale. It was Maserati's 60th birthday present to itself. In 1981, Maserati launched the bi-turbo range, available with twin-turbo V6s from 2 litres to 2.8 litres in size. It was a compact executive that was very comfortable and featured a high-quality interior. It had impressive performance and good road handling. In total, over 22,500 saloons, coupes and spiders were produced. This was hugely important to struggling Maserati. 1990 saw the launch of the Maserati Shamal. It featured a 3.2-litre twin-turbo V8 which produced 322 horsepower and could hit 60 in 5.3 seconds. In 1993, Fiat buys 51% of Maserati. Fiat had already bought the first 49% in 1989, making it the sole owner. In 1998, Maserati launched the 3200 GT. It's the first car in the world with LED rear headlamps. It had 370 horsepower and could hit 60 in 5 seconds. In 2002, the 3200 GT evolves to become the Maserati Coupe. It replaces the old 3.2-litre twin-turbo engine with a 4.2-litre V8 from Ferrari. In top spec, it had 400 horsepower and could hit 60 in 4.8 seconds. In 2003, Maserati launches the Pininfarina-designed 5th generation Quattroporte. It features the same 4.2 litre V8 as the coupe. Later models see this engine uprated to 4.7 litres, producing up to 450 horsepower. In total, 25,000 of these models were built. In 2004, Maserati launches the MC12. 50 road-going versions were built, as well as 12 racing editions. It featured a 6-litre V12 from the Ferrari Enzo, which produced 630 horsepower, at a top speed of over 205 miles an hour. The racing version had over 750 horsepower. In 2007, Maserati launches the Gran Turismo and the Gran Cabrio. These are luxury Grand Tourers that feature the same V8 engines as the Quattroporte and had up to 450 horsepower. In total, over 40,000 were sold, making it the most popular Maserati to date. In 2013, Maserati launches the Ghibli. It's the first Maserati to feature a diesel engine. The top-spec petrol had a 3.8-litre twin-turbo which produced 580 horsepower. In 2016, Maserati launches their first SUV, the Levante. It's large in size at over 5 metres long and had up to 600 horsepower from the same twin-turbo 3.8 engine as the Ghibli. To date, it's still one of the fastest SUVs in the world. In 2020, Maserati launches the MC20. It's a mid-engined, carbon fibre-bodied supercar. It's the first model to feature the Nettuno engine, a 3-litre twin-turbo that produces 630 horsepower. It sees the MC20 up to 60 in 2.8 seconds and has a top speed of 204 miles an hour. It cost £225,000 and is praised for its dynamic ability, strong engine and comfort. In 2023, Maserati launches the Grecale. It's their first compact luxury SUV. It's praised for its exterior design, high-quality interior and strong engines. These include a hybrid, the Nettuno V6 with up to 530 horsepower, and an electric version called the Folgore, which has 560 horsepower. 2023 also sees the release of the second-generation Gran Turismo. It has V6 engines with up to 550 horsepower. There's also the option of the electric Gran Turismo Folgore. With 750 horsepower, it can hit 60 in 2.7 seconds, making it the fastest ever production Maserati.